I woke up to smoke choking the air. My eyes burned, my throat was dry. The sky outside my window glowed red. "June!" I shouted, coughing. She cried from the next room. I ran barefoot across the floor, stepping on hot ash. Her small hands reached for me, shaking. "Mama, it's fire!" she screamed. "I know, baby." "Hold on to me." The walls creaked like dying animals. I pulled a wet cloth around her face and ran outside. Cold air hit my lungs, but the fire was everywhere. My ranch, the only home I ever knew, was burning. The barn, the porch, the window where Elias once sang, all gone under that orange light. I stood there, holding June close. My heart was pounding, not from fear, but from loss. "Where's Daddy?" she asked, her voice small. I couldn't answer. I didn't know. By morning, only ashes were left. I searched through the smoke, my boots sinking in the black soil. I found the horses dead, the well cracked. Everything smelled of death and smoke. Sheriff Doyle came on his horse, chewing tobacco, his eyes hard. "Bandits," he said. "Hit 3 farms last night. Took money, burned the rest." I stared at him. Elias had no money. He smiled a little too long. Then maybe they wanted something else. Something cold moved in my chest. I looked at the burnt fields, then at him. He tipped his hat. "Sorry for your loss, Mrs. Carter." "Don't call me that," I said. The name hurt more than the smoke. When he rode away, June tugged on my sleeve. "Mama, where will we go?" I didn't answer right away. My voice broke when I finally spoke. "Somewhere the fire can't find us. We buried what was left of Elias under the old oak tree. Not much to bury, just his silver belt buckle and a burned letter." June watched with wide eyes, silent. I whispered, "I forgive you, Elias." "But I won't forget." The wind carried the words away. For a moment I thought I heard him laughing, the same cruel laugh from the night he lost our savings in cards. At sunset, I packed what little we had. A cracked photo, 2 dresses and half a loaf of bread. I tied them in a sack and looked once more at the land that used to be mine. The fences were down. The cows were gone. The sky was gray like mourning cloth. June leaned against my leg. "Mama, are we poor now?" I smiled, though my throat ached. "We're still breathing, baby." "That's something." She nodded, brave as ever. She didn't cry, though I knew she wanted to. By the road, I saw the sheriff again, talking to 2 men. They stopped when I passed. One whispered, "That's Carter's widow." The other spat. "Heard her man owed the sheriff money." I walked faster. June held my hand tighter. When we reached the end of the hill, I looked back one last time. All I saw was smoke. The world I knew was gone. I whispered to myself, "I will never beg again." My voice shook, but the promise felt real. No more waiting for help. No more trusting men with easy smiles. No more being Mrs. Carter, the quiet wife. From now on, I'd be May, just May, and I would keep my daughter safe, no matter what it cost. The road stretched far and empty. We walked until the stars came out. June fell asleep in my arms. I kept walking. The night was cold, the wind sharp, but I didn't stop. Behind me, the land burned until the last flame died. Ahead, the unknown waited, dark, wide, and cruel. Still, I walked. Because even ashes can learn to breathe again. I walked the long road alone. June slept on my back, quiet. Hunger pushed me forward without mercy. The sun burned like open fire. A horse snorted behind me, close. I turned fast toward the crossroads. A cowboy rode up with calm hands. "Name's Luke Turner," he said, stopping near me. "Do you need help today?" he asked softly. "I need distance," I said. "Not pity or debt." "Water, then," he said. "No price, no catch." "I don't owe you," I said, watching him. "You don't," he said. "I understand debt." "I hate debt," I said. "It eats peace. Drink first," he said. "Talk after, breathe." I studied his face and the horse. I drank slowly and gave June sips. The water tasted like a small promise. June sighed and leaned against my shoulder. Wind moved dust like thin gray water. A hawk cried over the wide land. "What's your name?" he asked in a pause. "May," I said. "Just May for now." "Names change," he said. "Peace takes time. Peace runs from me," I said quietly. "It ran from me too," he answered. "Bread and jerky?" he asked, lifting a bundle. "No hook," he added. "Only food today. I feed my girl first," I said. "Good," he said. "Mothers keep courage alive." I broke bread and watched him carefully. He kept distance and looked road-weary. June chewed slow and studied his eyes. My hunger eased like a weak storm. "Where are you headed, May?" he asked. "Town," I said. "Any work and roof?" "The mine pays little," he said honestly. "The tavern pays less and hurts more." "I can scrub floors," I said, steady. "I can sleep near the stove." "You can rest at my cabin," he said. "Small place near the river bend." "Why me?" I asked, tightening my grip. "You look done," he said. "I remember that. I'm not for sale," I said bluntly. "I don't buy people," he said firmly. "I don't buy names either," he added. That word cut deep into old wounds. Name meant power or a locked cage. "I knew a man named Elias," he said. My blood went cold at once. "I rode with him once," he continued. "Long ago, before a hard storm." "You knew my husband," I said slowly. He nodded, slow and careful with silence. "Did he send you?" I asked, guarded. "No," he said. "He left first." I heard old laughter inside memory. I felt old fear crawl up again. "Kindness has a bill," I said flat. "Then let's write rules," he said calmly. "You walk. I ride beside you. If you say stop, I stop. If you say go, I go. No touch unless you ask first. You keep your name intact," he said. "I pay with work," I said clearly. "I cook, mend, and fix fences." "Deal," he said. Clean, fair, simple. His rules felt steady like dry ground. I breathed easier and loosened my jaw. "Sheriff watches widows," I warned him quietly. "He likes money, land, and power." "I know his type," Luke said tightly. "Power hides behind a shiny badge." "Badges hide blood," I said in reply. "We'll keep distance," he answered without blinking. June pointed at a dark cloud bank. Thunder grumbled far on the western rim. The horse tossed its head and snorted. "Night will be hard on foot," he said. "I've walked worse nights," I said flatly. "You don't need to tonight," he said. "I still choose my steps," I answered. "And I keep my promise to move." "Did Elias ever help you?" I asked. "Once," he said. Then he ran away. "Everyone runs," I said with a shrug. "Some return," he said, watching me think. "I won't return to yesterday," I said. "Good," he said. "Yesterday kills hope." We started toward town together in silence. He kept to the road's right edge. I kept to the sun-baked grass. June warmed my shoulder and breathed easy. Luke hummed a low river song. It sounded like courage mixed with fear. "Why help me?" I asked at last. "I remember hunger," he said simply. "I remember a home on fire." His words struck like a gust of ash. Smoke from my past rose in me. "I lost home," I said, voice small. "I lost peace in a sweet dream." "You'll find new ground," he said gently. "Storms pass. Names can heal again." "My name is burned," I said honestly. "We can forgive ashes," he said back. We walked while the crossroads sign watched. Town meant noise, work, and danger close. River meant trees, quiet, and safe hiding. "I'll reach town first," I said firmly. "I won't push you," he said softly. "I don't push women," he added plain. "Good," I said. "Men pushed before." "I'm not them," he said with care. "Time will show," I said, eyes forward. Wind cooled the road and my neck. The horse flicked flies with its tail. June yawned and closed her eyes. "Luke," I said, testing his name. "Yes, May?" he said without looking. "If I fall, you stop," I said. "I stop," he said. "That's the rule." "If I fear, you keep space," I said. "I keep space," he said once more. We moved like that for steady miles. Dust rose, but my steps felt lighter. Fear stayed, but courage walked nearer. Hunger eased under bread and jerky. I held the lead on the road. Luke kept pace and kept quiet. Hope opened like a small door. The rain started again before sunset. I held June close under my shawl while Luke rode ahead. His coat was dark with mud. He didn't talk much. I didn't ask where we were going. I was too tired to care. After an hour, we stopped near a broken fence and a small shack made of old wood. The wind pushed through the cracks, making a low, sad sound. Luke said, "It ain't much, but it's dry." I looked at the roof. "Does it hold the rain?" He smiled a little. "Most of it." June peeked from behind me. "Mama, can we stay here?" Luke turned to her. "You can stay as long as you like. There's a stove inside and a bed. Needs fixing, though," I frowned. "Why are you helping us?" He looked at the ground. "Because someone once helped me." We stepped inside. The place smelled of dust and smoke. There was one chair, one bed, and a stove full of cold ashes. I brushed my hand over the table. It was rough, but strong. Luke brought in some wood and started a fire. The light filled the room like a warm hand. June sat close, her cheeks pink again. I whispered, "Thank you." He nodded. "You can stay here. Just help me patch the walls tomorrow. That'll make it yours. Mine?" I said softly. I hadn't owned anything since the fire. He met my eyes. "Everyone needs a place to start over." June laughed then, her first laugh since Elias died. The sound broke something open inside me. For a moment I almost smiled. We ate bread and beans Luke had carried in his bag. He said little, and I liked that. Silence felt safer than questions. When June fell asleep, I went outside. The moon was high, silver and cold. Luke was sitting by his horse, staring at the dark hills. I said, "You knew my husband?" His body stiffened. "I knew him. A long time ago. What kind of man was he to you?" He rubbed his jaw. "The kind that makes you wish you'd never met." My heart twisted. "So you were friends?" He looked away. "Not quite." I wanted to ask more, but the words stuck in my throat. I turned to go back inside. Before I closed the door, I heard him whisper something, quiet, broken. He said, "Forgive me, Elias." I froze. The night went still around me. My breath caught in my chest. He had said Elias, my husband's name. I stepped outside again, but Luke was gone. Only the horse stood there, shaking its mane. Inside, June mumbled in her sleep. "Mama, did the fire go out?" I stroked her hair. "No, baby. The fire's still here, but in truth something colder burned inside me." The next morning I found Luke chopping wood. I asked, "Did you sleep?" "Didn't need to," he said. He looked tired, his eyes red like he'd been crying. I wanted to ask what he meant by that whisper, but fear stopped me. If I knew his secret, maybe I'd lose this small piece. "Where did you learn to fix things?" I asked instead. He smiled faintly. "Army long ago, and now?" "Now I try to mend what I broke." He handed me a hammer. "You can start with these boards." All day we worked. The sound of nails and wood filled the air. June played with a stray cat near the fence. I watched Luke when he thought I wasn't looking. His face carried years of hurt. At noon he said, "You ever think of leaving this place?" "Where would I go?" He shrugged. "Sometimes going nowhere is better than staying where it hurts." I stared at him. "You speak like a man who knows pain." "I do," he said simply. When evening came, the shack looked stronger. Not new, but alive again. Luke said, "You did good work." I smiled faintly. "You too." He hesitated before walking off toward the barn. "Good night, May." That was the first time he said my name. It felt strange, warm, and dangerous all at once. I lay beside June, listening to the rain return. Every drop hit the roof like a heartbeat. Luke's whisper echoed in my mind. "Forgive me, Elias." I closed my eyes, holding my daughter close. "Who are you really, Luke Turner?" I whispered. The rain gave no answer, but my heart already knew this peace wouldn't last long. I was hanging wet clothes when I heard the hoofbeats. Slow, heavy, like someone who enjoyed being late. June looked up from the porch. "Mama, who is that?" I said, "Go inside, baby." "Stay quiet." Dust rose before I saw his face. Sheriff Doyle. He rode like he owned the earth. He smiled at me, but his eyes were knives. "Well, Mrs. Carter," he said. Or should I say Widow Carter? I didn't answer. He stepped down, brushing his coat, looking around. "Fine little place you've got here. Heard you're living with that cowboy, Luke Turner." "He gave me work," I said. "That's all," he laughed. "Work, huh? Funny word for it." I kept my voice calm. "You here for something, Sheriff?" He walked closer. I smelled whiskey and dust. "I'm here about your husband's debt," he said. "Elias owed me money." "Big money," I froze. "Elias is dead." "Dead men still leave bills, sweetheart." He touched the edge of the table where June's shoes sat. "I could take this house or your horse, but I'd rather you repay me another way." My stomach turned cold. I stepped back. "You stay away from me." He smiled wider. "Don't act proud now. Your husband wasn't. You know how he died?" I didn't answer. He leaned closer. He begged. "You think I forget that?" I whispered. "You're lying." "Maybe," he said. "Maybe not. But if you don't pay, I'll make sure everyone knows how dirty your man was." Maybe they'll throw you off this land too. I wanted to slap him. Instead, I said, "Get out." He tilted his hat. "Not without my payment." His hand brushed my arm. I pushed him back. Before I could scream, a voice shouted, "That's far enough, Doyle!" Luke. He stood by the barn, gun half raised. The sheriff turned slow, laughing. "Well, look who came home. The hired man." Luke said, "You're trespassing." "Relax, cowboy." "I was just talking to the lady." "Your talk's over," Luke said. Doyle's grin vanished. "You forget who runs this county?" "I don't care who runs it," Luke said. "You touch her again, I'll remind you who bleeds." The sheriff's eyes turned hard. He spit in the dirt. "You think you can protect her?" "You can't even protect yourself." Luke said nothing. His finger stayed near the trigger. Doyle looked at me again. "You'd better teach your man some manners, widow." "I'll be back. And next time, I won't come alone." He turned, climbed on his horse, and rode off slow. When he was gone, I finally breathed. Luke holstered his gun. "You all right?" I nodded, but my hands shook. "He said Elias owed him." Luke frowned. "Don't listen to him. Doyle lies for sport. He knew things. About Elias. Things he shouldn't." Luke looked away. "He knows too much about everyone. Then how do I fight him?" I asked. "You don't. Not yet. You stay quiet. Keep your head down. I'll handle him." I wanted to believe him. But I remembered that smile on the sheriff's face. That promise of return. "What if he comes back when you're not here?" I asked. "Then take my gun," Luke said. He placed it in my hand. "Use it." The metal was cold, heavy. I'd never held one before. "I can't," I said. "You can," he replied. "If it's him or you, don't think. Just pull." We stood silent. June peeked out the door. "Mama, is it over?" I forced a smile. "Yes, baby. It's over." But it wasn't. That night, as the wind hit the walls, I couldn't sleep. I thought about Elias. The lies, the debts, the way his ghost never left me. Maybe I was still paying his price. Luke sat by the fire, cleaning his gun. "You shouldn't stay here," I whispered. "I'm not leaving you," he said. "I don't need saving." "I know," he said softly. "But I'll stay anyway." I wanted to ask why. Instead, I said, "You don't owe me anything." He looked up, eyes dark. "Maybe I do." His words stayed in my head long after the fire died. Outside, the night was quiet. Too quiet. I heard a coyote cry far off, and I wondered if it was a warning. I held June close, watching the shadow of Luke by the dying light. Tomorrow, the sheriff would come again. And when he did, I wouldn't hide behind anyone. Not anymore. "I tied your horse," I said, voice flat. "You did?" Luke looked up, tired. "Yes, the saddlebag was loose." "Find anything?" he asked. "I did," I said. "I found a letter." He froze like a man hearing thunder. "Let me see," he said quietly. The name on the top made my hands shake. "Elias," I whispered. His hand, Luke swallowed. His jaw moved. "Read it," he told me. I read with a dry mouth. "Thank you for making it quick." My throat closed. The world tilted. "That is his hand," I said. "It is," Luke said. His eyes were gone. "Did you write this?" I asked. "No," he said. "I did not write those words." My anger rose like a fire. "You knew him," I spat. "You rode with him." "I did," Luke said. "A long time back." "You killed him," I said. "You killed my man." "I shot Elias," Luke said. "I shot him good." I put the letter in my pocket. "You had no right," I said. "No right at all," Luke's voice broke. "He killed my brother," he said. "My brother?" I cried. "He is gone too?" "He left his girl with nothing," Luke said. "My brother died saving a town. Elias took his pay. He left him to die." My hands shook. "Why did you not tell me?" "I could not," he said. I tried to forget. "I rode for water." "I ran." "You ran," I said. "You ran from grief?" "I rode after him," Luke said. "I found him in a field. He was wild. He had a rope and a bottle. He laughed like a man with no shame." I pressed my palms to my face. The wood was rough and cold. "He killed my brother," Luke said. "He hurt his woman. I could not let him go." "Justice," I said slowly. "You call it justice." "I did not mean to make you suffer," Luke said. "I wanted to stop him." "Stop him?" I spat. "Stop him and bury him quick." "He begged me," Luke said. "He begged for pain and I gave it." He was a danger. My eyes burned. "You killed him and you did not tell my child," I said. "You let us bury a lie." Luke looked at the ground. I thought it would heal you, he whispered. I thought it would end the debt. End the debt? I laughed, a small, cruel sound. He had more debts than men. You think I did this for money? Luke said. No, I did it for blood. I wanted to throw the paper at him. A letter like this, I said, is a godless thing. He looked at the words. I did not write those lines. Elias wrote to his maker. Who put that in his bag? I asked. Did you leave this? Did you set this? No, Luke said. I did not touch his bag after I left. I left him there. I rode away. Why? I demanded. Why ride away if you killed him? Because I could not live the rest of my life with that man behind me, Luke said. I could not watch your face. I could not watch June grow up knowing me as his killer. You thought you spared us, I said. You thought silence would help. I thought so, he said. I was wrong. I felt small in the long light. June's shadow moved inside the house. I wanted to shoot you, I said. Right then. I wanted to put a bullet in you. Luke flinched like a child. But I did not, I said. My hand did not go for the gun. He stepped nearer. I have paid, he said. I rode nights to find men worse than him. I kept his name far from town. You kept his name, I repeated. You kept his lie. I kept my own, Luke said. I kept my shame. It ate me. It eats me now, I said. I live on that ash and your secret. He reached for my hand, slow. Do not touch me, I snapped. Not yet, his fingers paused. I am full of mistakes, he said. I can only offer this. I will stand and take what comes. I will not run again. You will not run? I asked. No, he said. Not from you. Not from what I did. He told me small things about his brother. He told me how the man smiled when he gave his life away. He told me how Elias had taken coin and left a wound. He did not make excuses. He said simply what he had done. You will tell? I asked. I will tell, he said. I will go to the law. I laughed once ugly. The law is the man who smiled at Elias when he died. I know, Luke said. But I will tell the truth. I will say why I shot him. You will say it? I asked. You will put your name to it? I will, he said. I will not run. I thought of Elias with a rope and bottle. I thought of Luke with a gun and a bruise. I thought of June and the small laugh she made last week. My chest felt hollow and full at once. I am not sure what I am, I said. I am not sure if I can forgive. He nodded. I do not ask for that now, he said. I ask only for a chance. Chance for what? I asked. For truth, he said. For telling. For paying. Tell and I will listen, I said. Tell and I will hear you. But I will not say I forgive. He bowed his head. Thank you, he said. That is all I ask. The sky turned black before noon. Thunder rolled across the valley like angry drums. I stood by the window, holding June close. Luke checked his rifle near the door. Storm's coming, he said. I can see that, I replied. My voice shook. You think he'll come today? Luke didn't look at me. Doyle don't wait for dry weather. Rain hit the roof, hard and cold. The wind pushed through the cracks. I smelled mud and smoke. The fire in the stove hissed and died. Luke, I said, what if he takes the land? He turned toward me, jaw tight. Over my dead body. June's small hand pulled at my skirt. Mama, I'm scared. I knelt beside her. Stay quiet, honey. Don't open that door no matter what. Luke looked at her, softer now. You listen to your mama, all right? She nodded and hid under the blanket. Then the sound came. Horses. Many of them. I felt my heart beat in my throat. Luke opened the door. Rain poured inside. Doyle stood out there, coat shining with water, his smile colder than the storm. Well, look at this, he said. The widow and her guard dog. Luke stepped forward. You've said enough, Sheriff. Turn around, Doyle laughed. This land is mine, Turner. That woman owes me, and I always collect my debts. I shouted, You're lying. He pointed at me. You remember what your husband owed? His blood didn't pay at all. Luke raised his rifle. You're not taking her. The men behind Doyle drew their guns. The world went white with lightning. The next second, gunfire. I dropped to the floor, covering June. Bullets tore through the walls. The smell of gunpowder filled the air. Luke! I screamed. He fired back again and again. Then I heard him fall. I crawled to him. His shoulder was bleeding, eyes half open. Stay down, he gasped. Don't let him near you. Doyle walked closer, boots heavy on the porch. You should have stayed quiet, May, he said. Now look at your hero. He aimed at Luke. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed Luke's gun from the floor. The wood felt warm, alive. Stop right there, I said. Doyle laughed. You won't shoot me. I could feel my hands shaking. But I saw June's little face behind me, pale, afraid. And I remembered the night my home burned. Yes, I whispered. I will. The gun kicked hard. Doyle fell backward into the mud. The rain swallowed the sound. His men ran off into the trees. It was over, but I couldn't breathe. Luke groaned beside me. May. I dropped the gun and pressed my hands on his wound. Don't talk. Don't move, he smiled weakly. Guess you didn't need me after all. Shut up, I said, crying. I'll hate you later. Right now you just stay alive, he coughed, blood on his lips. Fair deal. I dragged him inside step by step, my dress soaked and heavy. The floor turned red beneath us. June peeked from behind the chair. Mama, is he dead? No, I said. Not today. I tore my skirt to make a bandage, tied it tight around his shoulder. His skin burned under my hands. Outside, thunder still broke across the ridge. But I didn't care anymore. The storm wasn't the danger now. It was the silence after. I sat beside him, trembling. I killed him, I whispered. Luke's voice was faint. He deserved worse. I didn't do it for you, I said. I did it for her. I know, he closed his eyes. But thank you anyway. The wind pushed the door open. Rain swept across the floor. I leaned against the wall, holding my daughter, watching Luke breathe. The night stretched on, long and wild. I felt something break inside me, fear maybe. And under that, something new. Not peace, not yet, but strength. I looked at Doyle's gun still lying near the door. His hat floated in the puddle outside, his blood mixed with rainwater, running down the steps like it was never there. When dawn came, the valley was quiet again. Birds sang over the broken fence. The sky was pale, clean. Luke slept on the floor, breathing slow. June slept on my lap, and I sat there, staring at the hills. I thought about the name I lost, the one I might still earn. I thought about the promise I made in the ashes, never to beg again. Maybe this was the start of keeping it. The storm was over. For now. The cabin smelled of smoke and wet wood. I sat beside the fire, watching Luke breathe. His shirt was torn, the bandage dark with blood. Every rise of his chest felt like a small miracle. Stay with me, I whispered. Don't you dare leave me now, he groaned softly. May, you shot him? Yes, I said. The sheriff is dead. His eyes opened halfway. Then the law will come for you. I know. My hands shook as I poured water into a tin cup. I don't care anymore. He tried to sit up, but pain made him curse. You should have run. I couldn't, I said. You saved us. I owed you that much, Luke smiled weakly. You don't owe me anything. I looked at him, the firelight dancing across his face. You killed my husband, I said quietly. And still, I can't hate you. He looked away. You should, I tried. My throat felt dry. But hate keeps me awake. Love puts me to sleep, Luke chuckled softly. That's dangerous talk. Everything I say is dangerous now, I said. We're both wanted, he turned his head. May, if I die, don't stay here. Take June and go north. Start over. Forget me, I shook my head. No, I won't bury another man alone. For a long moment, only the storm outside answered us. The rain beat against the roof like drums. I listened to it, wondering if the world was washing our sins clean or burying them deeper. Luke reached for my hand. His skin felt cold. Do you ever forgive yourself? He asked. Not yet, I said. Maybe one day. He closed his eyes again. Then start with forgiving me. I sat in silence, watching the shadows move across his face. His words burned inside me. Why did you do it? I asked. Why kill him that night? Luke's voice was low. He killed my brother. Shot him in the back. I found his body in the dust. Elias laughed when I asked for justice. So I gave him the same mercy he gave my kin. I swallowed hard. And you still helped me after? I didn't know you were his wife, he said. Not until I saw your eyes. Same color as his lies. My chest tightened. Then why didn't you walk away? He smiled faintly. Maybe I needed to make it right. Maybe I saw something worth saving. His words broke me open. I turned my face away, tears hot on my cheeks. You think saving me will save you? Maybe not, he whispered. But it helps me breathe. The wind howled through the cracks in the wall. I added more wood to the fire. Sparks rose like ghosts trying to reach heaven. You rest, I said. I'll keep watch. He nodded slowly, his eyes closing again. I could see his chest rise and fall, steady but weak. Hours passed. I cleaned the wound again, fed him broth, changed the bandage. Each small act felt like stitching together a broken world. When dawn came, I stepped outside. The rain had stopped. The mountains glowed pale blue under a thin sun. I could smell pine and smoke and freedom, all mixed together. I thought about running, about finding some quiet town where no one knew our names. But then I remembered June sleeping in the other room, her hair tangled like her father's, her laughter like mine. Luke stirred when I came back. You've been up all night, he murmured. I'm used to it, I said. He smiled. You always fight the dark. I have to, I replied. If I don't, it wins. He looked around the small cabin. This place feels like a grave, or a home, I said. Depends on what we make of it, he chuckled softly. You sound like a preacher. Maybe I'm just tired of pain. Luke shifted closer. You should rest, May. I will. After you eat. He tried to sit up and I helped him. Our hands touched. I felt something strange, not guilt, not pity. Just warmth, thank you, he said. For what? For not letting me die alone. I smiled faintly. I don't save people. I just don't walk away anymore. He looked into my eyes. You've got a strong heart. Too strong, maybe, I said. It keeps breaking and still beats. He laughed, then winced from pain. You'll outlive us all. I poured him water, my hands steady now. Maybe, but I don't want to live like a ghost. Then stop living in the past, he said. Start dreaming again. His words hit deep. I realized I'd been holding on to grief like it was the last thing I owned. That night, we sat by the fire again. June slept between blankets, her little face peaceful. Luke looked into the flames. I keep seeing my brother, he said. He smiles at me sometimes. Other times he just turns away. I reached for his hand. Maybe he forgave you. Do you? He asked. I thought for a long time. I don't know, but I want to. That's enough, he said softly. We sat in silence. The fire cracked. The wind sighed through the walls, and for the first time in months I didn't feel hunted. I leaned my head on his shoulder. Luke, I whispered, what do you dream of now? He smiled faintly. A name that isn't cursed. A home that isn't burning. My heart ached. Maybe we can build one together. He looked at me. Would you take my name, even after everything? I nodded. Names don't scare me anymore. Lies do. Luke's hand trembled as he touched my cheek. Then maybe we've both been forgiven. The fire flickered low. Outside, the storm had gone quiet. Inside, for the first time since the world burned, I felt warm. We reached the town at sunset. Dust covered the sky in gold and red. Luke rode beside me, quiet as always. June slept behind me on the horse, her small arms tight around my waist. For the first time in months, I felt safe. When we entered the town, people looked. They saw a man, a woman, and a child. New folks? One man asked. Luke nodded. Luke Turner, he said. Then he looked at me and added, my wife, May Turner. The words stopped my breath. Later, in the small inn, I said, why did you say that? He looked at the floor. It was easier, he said. Easier? I asked. You gave me your name like it was nothing. He smiled a little. Names don't cost much, but maybe they can fix something. I didn't know what to say. My hands were shaking. That night, I lay awake, listening to the wind hit the window. June slept close, her hair over my arm. I thought of Elias, my husband, buried far away under a nameless cross. He had left me with nothing but pain and a child who looked like him. And now, this man who once took his life had given me his name. Next morning, we bought supplies. Luke spoke with the storekeeper. I stood outside watching people pass, mothers, children, old men. The air smelled of bread and horses. For the first time in years, I wanted to belong somewhere. When Luke came out, I asked, what are we now? He said, whatever you need us to be. I said, and what if I don't know? He smiled softly. Then I'll wait. That night, we camped outside town. The stars were wide and sharp like glass. I cooked beans over the fire while Luke fixed the saddle. June sang a small song to herself. When she finished, she asked, "Mama, are we safe now?" I looked at Luke. He nodded once. "Yes," I said. "We're safe." After she slept, Luke came closer to the fire. He took something from his pocket, a small ring, worn in silver. "I found this," he said. "Thought you might want it." I stared at it. "Why?" He looked at me for a long time. "Because you lost too much." I wanted to be angry, but my voice broke. "You think a ring fixes it?" "No," he said quietly. "But maybe it starts something new." He held it out again. "You don't have to forgive me. Just let me give you a name." I felt something inside me crack open. Not pain, but release. Tears burned my eyes. All this time I carried anger like a stone in my chest. But his voice, the way he said my name, it softened everything. I took the ring. It was too big for my finger, but I wore it anyway. He smiled. "Now it fits," he said. "It doesn't," I whispered. "It will," he answered. We sat in silence. The firelight made his face look tired and gentle. "Luke," I said after a while. "You killed him," he nodded. "I did. Do you regret it?" "I regret that it had to be me." "Why, tell me." He looked at the flames. "Because I couldn't ask for peace while hiding truth." I nodded slowly. The wind blew smoke in my face, but I didn't move. I felt like I could breathe again. Maybe forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. Maybe it was just about letting go. When I lay down that night, I looked at June's sleeping face. She smiled in her dreams. I whispered, "We have a name now." And for the first time, the words didn't taste bitter. In the morning, Luke packed the horses. He looked at me and said, "You ready, Mrs. Turner?" I almost laughed. "Still feels strange," I said. "Give it time," he said. "Names take root." We rode toward the rising sun. The light hit the fields, turning them gold. I looked back once at the old road behind us, the one that led to everything we lost. Then I looked ahead, where the sky opened wide and bright. Luke rode close, his hand brushing mine. "Where to now?" I asked. "Anywhere you want," he said. I smiled. "Then let's find home." He tipped his hat. "Yes, ma'am." As we rode, I thought about the ring on my hand. It caught the sunlight, a small spark in all that dust. Maybe it wasn't about love or forgiveness. Maybe it was about starting over, about giving myself permission to live again. I turned to Luke. "Thank you," I said. He looked at me, puzzled. "For what?" "For the name," I said. "And for staying," he smiled. "You gave it meaning." The wind grew warmer. June woke and laughed behind me. The sound filled the valley like a song. I didn't cry this time. I just breathed, long, deep, and free. We rode on until the sun climbed high. Ahead of us, a river shone like silver. Luke said, "We'll rest there." I nodded. "Yes." Together. And as the horses moved down the hill, I whispered to myself, "My name is May Turner." The wind carried it away, soft and sure, and for the first time, it felt like the truth. The morning was cold, but the sun was kind. I held the ring in my hand, Elias's ring, heavy and dull now. June ran ahead on the riverbank, her laughter breaking the quiet. "Don't go too far," I called. She waved at me, her hair glowing like gold in the light. Luke stood a few steps behind me. "You sure about this?" he asked softly. I nodded. "It's time." We walked closer to the water. The river was wide, silver in the morning light. I remembered the night it took him. The rain, the gunfire, the red water. I used to hate this place. Now it just looked tired like me. Luke said, "You don't owe the past anything, May." "I know," I whispered. "But it still owns me," he didn't answer. He just put his hand on my shoulder. For a moment I wanted to cry. But my tears had dried long ago. June came running back, holding a wildflower. "Look, Mama. It's yellow like the sun," I smiled. "It's beautiful, baby." She tucked it behind my ear and grinned. "Now you look happy." I wanted to tell her that happiness wasn't something I wore. It was something I was still learning to hold. Instead I said, "Thank you." Luke watched us, quiet as always. He said, "You know, he's not here anymore." "I know, but I need to tell him something anyway." I stepped into the cold water. It bit my feet, but I didn't care. I held the ring up to the light. It had once meant love, then pain, then nothing. Now it was just metal. Elias, I said softly. You lied. You hurt me. You left me with nothing. The water moved around my ankles, slow and calm. But I'm not your wife anymore. I'm not your shadow. I forgive you. Not for you, but for me. I opened my hand and let the ring fall. It hit the water with a soft sound, a small splash, then gone. June gasped. Mama, you dropped it. I smiled. No, baby. I let it go, she frowned. Why? Because some things don't belong to us anymore. She thought about it for a moment, then nodded. Like old shoes? I laughed. Yes, exactly like old shoes. Luke chuckled behind me. That's one way to say it. His voice sounded lighter than before. I looked at the river. The ring was gone, but something else left with it, the weight on my chest. The wind touched my face like a hand saying goodbye. Luke came beside me. You did it. Yeah, I said. I did. Feels better? A little. Maybe that's enough. We stood there a while, watching the water carry everything away. Lies, pain, fear. June threw a small stone into the river and laughed when it splashed. The sound echoed like music, I whispered. I'm done looking back. Luke nodded. Good, because the road ahead is wide. He took my hand, rough and warm. The sun climbed higher, gold spilling over the hills. For the first time in years, I didn't feel empty. The river had taken what it needed, and what was left was mine to keep. I looked at June and Luke and smiled. My name is May Turner, I said quietly, and I'm finally free. The fire cracked softly. I sat close, writing on old paper. My hands shook a little, but not from fear, from peace. The smell of smoke, the soft hum of night, Luke's low voice outside. It all felt like home. Still writing, May? Luke called through the door. Yes, I said. Just finishing my story, he laughed. You've been finishing that story for years, I smiled. Maybe it took me that long to believe it. He stepped inside, his boots quiet on the wooden floor. His hair was gray now, his face lined from years of sun and dust. But his eyes, still that same soft brown, had never looked kinder. June sent another letter, he said, placing it on the table. She says she's fine. The baby walks now. I touched the letter, smiling. My little girl is a mother now, he nodded. She says the boy's name is Eli. The name hit me hard. Elias, my past. My sin, my scar. Luke looked at me. You okay? I am, I whispered. That name doesn't hurt anymore. He sat beside me. For a while we listened to the fire. The night outside was full of crickets and faraway coyotes. I still remember that night, I said. The fire, the debt, the fear, Luke nodded. We were both lost. And now? I asked. He smiled. Now we're found. I looked down at my hands. Rough, strong, scarred. You gave me a name, Luke. But I had to learn to live with it. You did more than live, he said. You built this life. You made this home. His words sat heavy and warm in my chest. I reached out and took his hand. I used to think I was nothing. No name, no worth. Just someone left behind. Luke's thumb brushed my fingers. And now? I looked at him. This man, who once carried the truth that broke me, and the kindness that saved me. Now, I said slowly, I'm May Turner, wife, mother, survivor. He smiled. That's a fine name. The fire popped. Sparks climbed up and vanished. Outside, the moon was clear. I could see the edge of our land, green and wide, the fence Luke built still standing straight. Remember the promise? He asked. I laughed softly. Which one? You made plenty. The one where I said I'd give you peace. I remember, I said. And you did. He looked at the firelight on my face. You gave me peace too. Silence filled the room, soft and kind. My eyes burned a little, but not from sadness. From something better. I folded my paper, tied it with a string, and put it in the wooden box by the fire. What's that for? Luke asked. For June, I said. Someday, she'll read it and know who her mother was. She already knows, Luke said gently. Maybe he was right. He stood and took his hat. "Come outside. The stars are clear tonight." I followed him out. The air was cool, sweet with pine and soil. The sky looked endless, full of light. I leaned against him, feeling his heartbeat through his coat. "I used to hate this silence," I said. "Now it feels like peace," he nodded. "Silence only hurts when you're alone." I looked up. "I'm not alone anymore," he smiled, quiet and sure. "No, you're not, May Turner." And there, under the stars, I whispered to myself, "I have a name, a home, and a life worth keeping." For the first time, I believed every word.